My name is Isabel Bernedo from Malaga University on the southern of Spain, and I'm going to introduce you about my presentation in relation with the quality of visits between parents and children during foster care. My presentation has introduction, objectives, method, results, discussion, and conclusion. The international law and European and in Spain recognize the right of foster children to maintain the contact with their family of origin. Several research show us that the contacts are not positive or negative for the child. That is important to maintain an emotional attachment with their birth family and continuity of their life. These contacts reduce loyalty conflicts in children and their sadness or concerns about the separation. And the systematic review of pointers show us the absence of any contacts seeks to negatively affect children adjustment. So it's better to have contact than not to have the relationships. Several research found as well that their family have not received attention in the context of parenting skill training. So it's important, say, another research the quality of interaction between children and parents during the visit. We have carried several research about foster care, and the last year we focused in the contact in visits. In our last project was very important the interaction between parents and children during the visits. So we are going to focus this presentation in that. And with the result, we create an observational checklist that I'm going to show you. And we design a program that you can find online. This is Spanish with their ERCO. Our objective was to conduct an observational analysis focusing on the behavior of parents and children, social workers, and venue, and to develop an index of for assessing the quality of contact visit basis of the frequency and diversity of observed behavior, to offer professional a practical tool that they will say observational checklists for a more objective evaluation of contact visit quality. In our method, we analyze video record 20 children in relation with their 16 birth family. In the process was very important the authorization for this study by Children Protection Services, by Government of Andalusia, and the right consent for video recording by birth families in 4 agencies in the south of Spain, Andalusia, and our ethic consent. And we used a mixed method, qualitative and quantitative analysis. In this process, it was very important to install the cameras 2 months before making the recording, and we focuses on 45 minutes at the beginning of the interaction, 15 minutes during the tasks, and the last 15 minutes. We use in the method guided inductive categorization process, content analysis, observing verbal and nonverbal behavior, and 4 researchers worked individually to collect the videos and have several face-to-face meetings. These categories were based in childhood needs theory and the body attachment theory. Here you can see the categories and the codes. Our categories was written, style of interactions, and more that I'm going to show you. And can you see here in this slide was some of the positive behavior and negative behavior. Here you are another categories, use of parenting strategies, topic of conversation, and there with some positive behavior and negative behavior. And other categories were present and foods, behavior during check tasks, and farewell with the positive and negative behaviors. So I would like to give you our example of this observation, our checklist, and how to use it. Here you can see our sample in our program. We have a program that I said before, intervention with the bird family and the foster family. So we have some sample. In this case, is to show you because we video record the real visit between children and parents. But in this case, I would like to imagine that you are observing this behavior with the mother and the child. And here say the mother, come on, pick up this stuff you're leaving lying around. And child say, so pick up yourself. And mother say, I told you to pick that up. Otherwise, you're going to find out. So it's important. Only the verbal behavior is important. The non-verbal behavior, the position of the mother, the hand. So when you observe this situation, you can use our checklist, and it's very important with the categories and the behavior. Here you have some examples that I showed you before, and it's important pay attention to the child or play to share activity with the child. Of in the negative behavior, you have insult the child or interrupts the child, ignore the child. So you need to mark that you observe the behavior, yes or no, and the number of time that you observe, 1, 3, 10, in both cases. For their parents and for the child. And here do you have more? For example, when they are sharing the tasks, is they respect the turn taking, or not respect, or doesn't encourage the child, or don't, or doesn't help the child. So when you observe of the categories and you mark in the positive and negative behavior, you have a number of the behavior observed in the yes or no and number of time that you observe. So you can see at the end of this table that you have A, E, B, F, C, G, D, and each, and you can use this when you plot this behavior, you can use this in our formula, and you have the number of different positive behavior, positive, negative, and the total number of the positive behavior for children and for their parents. And the result of this division has to be multiplied by 100 to obtain the percentage. For example, you have observed this behavior or no, more positive behavior, more negative behavior. But then you have observes the behavior, the interaction, you need to mark in the checklist, and then you have the frequency and the diversity of the behavior. So in our case, you can see in this table the distribution of the cases in our research was 20, that I said before, 20 children, and you can see with the analyze and the tertile, if you have the cases in the high quality of visit, you have on the average quality of visits, or in the poor quality of visit, with the diversity of this behavior and the frequency that we say yes or no, or we say the number of this behavior surveys. So our sole support utility of frequency and diversity of behavior is in other contexts for several authors, especially for assessing behavior and evaluating the quality of contacts. We can combine net frequency and net diversity indicator, or you can, because you can make the distribution and to know if the observed behavior are in the high, average, or poor quality. The potential value for this quality index for professional, because they can consider the information provided for each indicator separately, and this offer more detail for the key parent or child behavior during the contact. And our proposed original checklist could be useful professional to detect what visit need more quality and what areas is important to training with the parents to improve the quality of these visits and to give the family some skills and abilities. The checklist could be used for going monitoring of the progress. For example, in our case, during our training, we use the checklist after the training with the bird families, and we can see if the bird family have using some behavior, some skill that we give to them, and to know the effectivity of the intervention. Is application can therefore improve the decision-making process regarding contact, reducing or increasing for the frequency of visit, the duration, and the levels of supervision. And it's also important that the professional receive adequate support as well of training of the relation of visit, giving the potential repercussion the contact and for the child well-being and the stability for the further placement. And for future research, we think about other possible indicators, presence or absence of incident during the visit, or the unexpected interruption for the first planning, among others. Professional incorporate other behavior observed into the checklist. And we are very grateful because some colleagues are using this index in Quebec, like Poitras, in Portugal with the Prochild Agency, and Van Hollen in Brussels. So thank you for your attention.
Bene, bene, molto,
Here
molto
you can
bene.
find our Instagram and my email, and you have found as well the air code if you would like to have our program that is in Spanish. Thank you so much.